Hi everybody! Welcome to my workshop, my little place where I do all my bits and bobs. And what I'm going to show you today is something I've been asked about quite a lot lately, about hybrid feeder fishing. And a lot of people ask me, I've got holes at the bottom of hybrid feeders, and I tell people I fill them in, and they've asked me how do I fill them in, and I'm going to show you how I do them. But one thing, people say, well, why do you fill them in? And I fill them in because I want it to get to the bottom in one piece. Listen, fishing's done in the head. It's all about you as a person, how you feel and how you go fishing and how you feel about how things work. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. What I'm saying is what I do and I feel more confident doing this. Now, there's two types of commercial feeder fishing that we do probably more than anything nowadays. One is a method feeder fishing and one is a hybrid feeder fishing. There's no holes in that. There's no holes in a method feeder, but there is in a hybrid feeder. And I can't get my head around it. I don't really understand why. Maybe, somebody will tell me why, but what I'm thinking is when that falls through the water like that, all the pressure pushing up there is loosening the pellets that are on that feeder, and that's the last thing that I want. It's got holes in the side like that. So it's got holes in the side, so that should ease it up and ease the pellets out. The last thing I want is pellets to come off as it's falling through the water. The last thing I want. And I'm obsessed, and anybody tells you, any videos you watch, I'm obsessed with getting that to the bottom before anything happens. I'm obsessed with it. So I'm spending different things. So what I do is I try to eliminate all the things that's going to stop the pellets coming off. And one is to fill the holes in the bottom. So people said to me, what do you do? Well, you can araldite it, you can do different things, you can fill it in with different things. Personally, what I use is that little baby. It's called a glue gun. And you can see that the sticks of glue go in there. You have to plug it in so it does get warm, so just be a little bit careful that you don't get any glue on you or anything like that. I've got a bit of tissue there to clean the end of the glue gun and just to make sure anything falls about. So, what feeders do I use? Well, I like these guru feeders, the best ones for me. The wider, the open there, so that when you put the hook bait in the middle, it sits perfectly. It's not trapped between the two sides, which is really important. So I use that one, and I use them in 24 and 30 gram. Why? They're just right size, they just work very well. I don't like them less than 24 grams. I know they do them in 18, but I know some people do, I don't. I just like to feel the weight on the bottom when the feeder gets to the bottom, when I tighten up to, because I don't want to move it. 18 grams is very light. Sometimes it does move when you're trying to tighten up. So I don't use a light one. I like them 24 and 30 gram. I think it's really important. Of course, I do a bigger size as well, which is that one. I think the 36 and 42. So if I need to go a bit further, I use that one and that shape. But again, I always fill the holes in. Now, if you're fishing 2-3 foot deep, it only takes a couple of seconds for it to get to the bottom. It probably doesn't make a difference. It probably don't matter. But when you're fishing over 3 foot, it makes a massive difference to me. It makes a massive difference. And certainly if I go 7, 8, 9, 10 foot, cracky, I'm obsessed with it then, because I know it takes quite a few seconds to fall through the water. The pressure hitting that as it's falling through, I think loosens it. You've got slits in the side. Now I think that does the job for you perfectly. So the last thing I'm interested in is pressure pushing them out, because if it's going through the water and I get pellets coming off, the fish come up and they don't come to your feeder and they knock him off your feeder. That just defeats the object for me. So like I said to you, I'm absolutely obsessed with it. So all I do, I get a feeder like that, and as you can see, I've already done one. Here's Blue Peter fashion. I prepared one earlier for you and I've just filled it in there. Now it's pretty simple to do. But remember, the glue gun's warm, right? So you've got to be a bit careful with the glue. So all I do, it's got a trigger there, and you pull the trigger, and you can see now, look, watch, as I'm pulling the trigger, the glue comes out. That's why it's called a gun. So all I do, I look at the feeder. One side the holes are very small, very narrow inside, but on the outside they're quite large. So what I do, I start there. And what I do, I just fill the holes in like that. Just a little bit, it almost sets straight away. And I just fill the holes in, just keep pulling the glue gun trigger and fill the holes in like that. And then all you've got to do is make sure that the actual done, look, that's done. Just make sure you keep pushing the glue in. That's one side. All the holes are filled in. It doesn't matter if it crisscrosses it a little bit. If you want to be a bit neater, you can. Then what I always do the insides as well. So I just fill the holes in a little bit. But you don't need a lot inside because they're only tiny holes. But what it does, it joins the glue through. And I think that makes it stronger. There you go. So basically, I've done it in just a few seconds. You can see now that the holes are filled in and they're perfect. But the most important thing for me, I've filled the holes in. I know when that falls through the water, it's solid and it's not going to push the pellets out. Now that's really, really important to me. So it's a massive difference because, like I said to you, fishing's all about fishing in your head. It's all about making sure what you want as a fisherman. If you're happy with the holes in, it's not a problem. Not really a problem. I'm not. I don't like them. I know that's made a big difference. When it goes to the bottom, I know that it's all in one piece, and that's what I'm interested in. So, all you do, that's set now, that's actually set. I'm just going to show you once more, just to make sure you get it. Just make sure the glue goes into the thing like that. Little press, 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 press. That's the back done. Now that it nearly sets straight away. Again, just on the inside. I'm holding it up so you can see it a bit better. Normally you just do it flat. And all that joins each side up. And basically, that's done. Simple. It's just simple. But I know, like I said to you, it's really important to me. Really important to me. So, but why do I use one? Because I know what you're thinking now. When does he use an iron and when does he use a method? Well, they both have the ways, they both have the times, and now summer comes, big difference because we do a lot of hybrid method feeder fishing this time of the year in the summer. So when do I use them? Well, it's the fish tell you. The fish tell you what feeder you should be on. So a lot of times in the summer I have one of each set up because with a method feeder you get more bait in and it breaks down quicker. So if the fish are responding to your bait quicker and they want more bait, you'd always use a method. But if you don't need a lot of bait and you're sitting there a little bit longer, then use a hybrid. But the fish tell you. But in the winter, because you don't need a lot of bait and probably sit there longer, you'd always use a hybrid because you're probably going to put too much bait in with a method. But in the summer, that usually comes into its own. And you can use ground bait on that one better than the hybrid. You can use ground bait on the hybrid, but it's always better on the method. So it's about trialing it yourself and testing it and doing both and finding out on the day what the fish want. It's really important. But I'm happy now with that. Now I know them holes are filled in, I'm as happy as Larry. Because like I said, it's my favourite feeder. I love that shape. It casts well. You've got holes in the side, so the water goes into the side, pushes the pellets up, and your hook bait sat on the top, waiting for the fish to come. That's what I do. And the other advantage to a glow gun, they're fantastic round the house. I do all my odd jobs with it. Well, even I can't keep a straight face on that one. I don't actually, I only use them for this. But they're a great piece of equipment. They really are. And like I said, every one of my feeders are all filled in with a glow gun. So it's a little tip. I'm not saying it's going to suit you. It suits me only because my head tells me I've got to get it to the bottom in one piece. It's really important. Just try it and see if it makes a difference. I hope that helps.